Hey there, how are you? This is Alex, the Love Engineer here, and I just wanted to hop on really quick, just because again, so I'm clearly still working with got my blue blockers on, but with all the stuff that's been coming up, and like I said, cheating is not a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's never been a new thing, but there is in the headlines, and of course now because of the whole Jackson deal that's going on. But I wanted to address, I was in this group and the question was raised about how come, if, when men cheat, there is an expectation that the woman's going to forgive them, it's going to take them back and all this other nonsensicalness, right? And then somebody asked, was like, well, when a woman cheats, why don't men accept them? And in the comment section, it was filled with a bunch of men. You've probably heard this statement too as well. And the brother wrote, he was like, well, when a woman cheats, it's emotional and her heart's involved and all this other good stuff. And then a whole bunch of brothers co-signed. And it wasn't no surprise because that is a very common belief that society has told people about infidelity, that this idea that when a woman is unfaithful, it's emotional. And when a man cheats, as the guy in the comment says, it was like a man can smash and then, and not have any feelings with it. So when men cheat, it's different. As a love engineer, my whole heart here, right? It's for powerhouse women and the men who love us to help us break down barriers and equip us with the tools and skills to build amazing relationships. Again, and he was like, oh, you're the love engineer. I am a mechanical engineer by degree. So let's start there. So let's get down to root cause. Let's get down to actual analysis. So let's play this story out, right? Because again, I call it a flat out lie that society has told men that actually gives us the psychological safety to stay in a relationship. And I actually saw a post. Somebody put it on my, hey, Spike. Hey y'all, happy Friday, by the way. Happy Friday. My whole point, I was like, let me get in here. I got other stuff I need to run and do, but I wanted to address this really quick. But the psychological safety, because here's how we set it up. And I started thinking through it. I was like, well, wait a minute, let's play this out. Because what happens if you tell a woman that a man is cheating on her and it doesn't mean anything, right? And that's usually how men come back around, right? It was like, she ain't mean nothing. She wasn't this, it's just sex. Let me let you in on a little secret. She doesn't end up as the other woman. And it's just sex, right? We're not talking about a one-night stand, right? And I think we often confuse this idea between men and women. And so it becomes this social cover that makes it perfectly acceptable for men to be unfaithful. We link it to some other, we make up biological stories, which have nothing to do with anything at this point. Monogamy is a choice. Cheating is also a choice. Hey, Priscilla. But nevertheless, that becomes the answer he gives because he knows the blowback to that. There's like no defense. It's like, well, she ain't mean anything. It was just sex. You don't end up as the other woman, as a mistress. Again, this is not a one-night stand. Oftentimes when men are unfaithful or when men are cheating, it is because that woman is doing something for him. He feels a certain way with that woman that he is not feeling for whatever reason with his wife. And so this illusion and these lies about the idea that it's not emotional, it's crazy. First of all, we're human. Men and women are humans to begin with. Our relationships are emotional. How men display them may be differently, but be clear, men are as emotional as women are. They just don't display it in the same way. We are humans. We come from the same place. And so, stop lying to people about this idea that somehow, some way, that Chris says facts, yes, that somehow, some way that when a man is unfaithful to his wife, that there is no emotional contact. Like and it annoys me to no end, because one of the struggles that I have and that I see we're having in society when it comes to relationships is that since men were little boys, somebody has basically been checking their emotions. Right? Somebody that whole like stop crying like a little girl, or all of that messaging that they started getting early on teaches them to actually lie about their emotions. And in society, the only feelings that men are supported in feeling are anger and arousal. Period. Those are the only two socially acceptable feelings that he had. Do like this, do share this with some folks. But those are the only two feelings that society lets him actually admit to having: arousal and anger. So therefore, And I say it all the time, so I'm always confused when people are like, oh my God, sexual assault is permitted by men so often. Of course it is. The only socially acceptable feelings you gave them were assault, sex, and anger. So they have sexual assault has to be the path. But back to cheating. Understand that somebody who is being satisfied or feels satisfied in their relationships don't go outside looking for anything. If somebody's going outside looking for their relationship, is because, again, as I said yesterday, they feel like they don't have the tools that they need to be able to get the satisfaction they're looking for in the relationship. So be clear that oftentimes when a man leaves or he cheats on his woman, that woman is the mistress is creating a feeling, and he feels a certain way about that woman. And you have to feel a certain way about her to be willing to risk life, to be willing to risk stability, to be willing to risk your reputation. You have to be getting some feeling that is significantly greater in your mind than the risk of how you would feel staying or losing your current wife. And so let's stop this ideology and these lies that we keep teaching people that somehow that a man who takes on a whole nother relationship with another human being at the risk of losing everything he has no feelings behind it, because one, is disrespectful. Two, it's insulting to me, to my intelligence as a woman. Like, are you kidding me right now? And then three, it also then puts into question this: how can I trust the feelings that you have me? Because again, if you can go build a whole relationship with another human being who fulfills all these needs, risk, wants, whatever it is, and you're telling me that there is no emotion behind that, you are lying. Because again, be clear, cheating and a one-night stand are not the same thing. So yes, it is a fact that men can have sex with a woman that he doesn't see a long-term future with, or he was drunk one night, and so can women, by the way. This is not even unique to men. This is people. People can do that. But when it comes down to, I'm flying her somewhere, I'm buying tickets, I'm rearranging schedules, be clear, there are some emotions behind that, and they are significant emotions. They are fulfilling a need that man has. Whether or not he's expressed it or verbalized it or not is different, but that woman is fulfilling a very sincere emotional need, because that man is willing to risk it all for it to be met. I say all that to say everybody is going to get their needs met. Everybody, men, women, it doesn't really matter. We are seeking out, we're in anything to get a need met, whether it's positive or negative how you do it, but we're actually doing it for a positive reason, no matter what it is. And oftentimes when it comes to choosing to cheat, right? Again, he's usually trying to get the need of being appreciated filled. He's often trying to get the need of feeling respected. Krista says, we are taught that when a man cheats, it's his fault, and when a woman cheats, it's his fault. That's another fair point, Chris. That's also crazy, right? It's also crazy. And I think very few people hear that from men, but that is exactly it, right? So it's the damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of scenario. And so you're like, you know what? I don't know how else, because that's the, it's the outcome of this notion of telling men that his job is to make her happy. It's crazy, and it's not true. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so, because again, men have feelings, but so much of how we've set up relationships is to pretend as if they don't, to ignore them when they do, and then to constantly disrespect him at every turn. And it starts with stuff like, I saw another post today about it, and there's this idea that it's like respect is earned. I was like, that's not true. I was like, respect and love should both be unconditional. So, not what we're taught. But again, we've been taught a whole lot of stuff that's just frankly not right. When, men see respect like women see love. And so to tell somebody they have to earn your love, we'd be like, I'm out, right? But we have no problem with telling somebody they have to earn respect. And inside a relationship, earning respect is really difficult, and it's disappointing, and it puts the same level of like, I don't know, that you would feel if somebody told you you had to earn their love. it's unstable and it's unhealthy at the end of the day. And so then the mistress becomes the person who gives him respect, who opens up, who listens to him, who does all of these other things. Again, this is not an endorsement for cheating, so don't nobody DM me about it. But I do want to the point I'm making here is that everybody's doing something for a reason, right? Again, the engineer in me is like, what's the root cause here and what is the outcome we're trying to go? Tell me the cause and I'll tell you the effect, because cheating is the effect. There is a different cause. And if we don't learn to communicate and connect about that, then we don't have true conversations we're not truly communicating. To Chris's point, this idea that men are having to internalize this idea that no matter what happens, it's my fault. So that then sets people up on this process of how you get that, how do you absolve that? How do I not feel like I'm to blame? Because guess who doesn't make me feel like I'm at fault? The other woman or the other guy. Let me be clear. Like saying, so while we may choose to find ourselves in the arms of another person for a variety of different reasons, at the core of it, what is the same is that I am feeling, both men and women are feeling unsatisfied, usually unappreciated, unvalued, not sexy, not desired, right? Those are standard across the board for whether it's men cheating or women cheating. Women are, studies show, we're better at lying about things because, again, why? Because we are in touch with our emotions, right? And so that's like when you hear men, when they tell the story, it's like, you're lying. You are absolutely lying. But men, again, don't deal with their emotions and don't have as much practice as women do. So that's how fewer women get caught. But again, not necessarily fewer women cheat. Women are also unfaithful again. And I'm not here for it to be good, bad, right, or wrong. That's not what I'm saying. And at this point, you make your own judgments in there for what's important for you. But just know that, again, men are as emotional about why they go do it as it is with women. So as we talk about what it is to forgive and be open to that, is realizing that men often don't forgive their unfaithful partners, particularly women, because again, it's just a standard. He's like, I'm just not taking it. I am not going to do it. And so, because again, I know that, again, if there's something that's unsatisfactory here that I am not doing, then another man, you found another person who can do that. And unfortunately, many women find out accidentally that for the exact same reason she doesn't do it. So he either cheats, they forgive, they get back together, and then he keeps doing it because whatever situation created the fact or the need for him to go out anyway, unless that's resolved, you don't, hey Kimberly, you don't get a chance to come back. So men are not less emotional in their cheating. We still all need to learn to communicate, which also then brings me to, if you've not seen it, again, join me at It's the Clip for me as we learn how to do healthy communication. Because one, we can stop lying to each other about this illusion of how men work, and no, just ask questions. And know how to have the conversation, right? And one of the questions I always ask is like, if your partner wanted to cheat, not they didn't cheat, but if they were thinking about cheating, could they bring that to you? That's the question maybe you answer yourself. So I'll ask you, right? Could they bring that to you? Right? We talk about wanting healthy communication. We talk about that, but if there is a requirement or I don't even know what's the word. If there's a limit to what I can tell you as my partner, then again, know that, again, the person that I can be honest, open with, then that's who I get to communicate. So as we talk about being able to have tough conversations, it's the CLIT for me. CLIT is an acronym. Get your mind out the gutter. But it's all about, again, showing men and women how to have healthy communication in a way that turns everybody on. And so April 1st, 7 o'clock, join me in It's the CLIT for me. There'll be a replay as well on that, because again, people decide on, people, we get to people cheat because they want to. True. We're all making the decisions because we want to, but let's go even deeper than that. But why is that where I got to, right? Because nobody gets into a relationship. I fundamentally believe people don't get into relationships, or people don't get married with the idea of, I want to be divorced, I want to ruin my partner's life. Let me say it differently. Normal people that follow me don't get into this situation, but many people have been in those spots where they feel like that is their option. It's to cheat or to go. It's because, again, they have a limited amount of skills. I say all the time, if all you have is a hammer, you will treat everything like a nail. But if you get more tools in your relationship toolkit, then you are able to build it in a different way. And that is why It's the Click for me is absolutely paramount and important, because, again, knowing that you need a new tool is one thing. Getting a new tool is a different thing, right? And so in It's the Click for me, you'll get some communication tools that allow you to be able to have real, open, honest, true communication with the opposite sex, right? Because it is nuanced. It is different. Like I said, we've had enough conversations now with the other. It's like, these people think differently than I do, and it's not right or wrong. It's just understanding it. And once you do, then you can have the conversations so that you don't find yourself in a relationship down the road thinking that your only option is to cheat, and then having to make up a story for why you cheated to be accepted back, and still not being fulfilled in that relationship because you never addressed the root cause of why I decided to cheat to begin with. And yes, I can put it all on you. Except, but blaming the person does not improve anything. But understanding what's actually my cause so I can get better, that is important. So nevertheless, tell me what your thoughts are. I am just curious. Chris, thanks so much for chiming in. But let's stop this story, this flat out lie that says that men are not emotional when they cheat. Again, you do not make a whole new family on the other side of town and have no feelings for her. That is crazy. And like I said, and I think it's disrespectful, and it is to suggest that men are less than human. That's not how that works at all. Society is over sexualized, not enough healing taking place after relationships. And it's funny because, again, I think the other thing we don't realize is that relationships are actually the place we go to give and grow. Relationships are the places you learn. It is this love lab, as I call them. That is where you go grow. That's how come people step away and they decide, I'm going to go fix me, or I'm going to work on me. And they stop dating, or they stop relationships only to start back up at the exact same thing. It's kind of like dropping out of school, right? Dropping out teaches you little to nothing, right? And so when you go back, you still have to learn whatever lesson you came to get. And that's the same thing I think in relationships, is that we, every partner that we have, every lover, as I say all the time, carries a lesson. Every lover carries a lesson. Learning is optional, but the lesson is clear. And if you don't get the lesson, that's cool. You will get another classroom with a new teacher, but the lesson will be the same. And so this healing and growth part, we can do that in relationship with each other. We just have to realize that that's what we're doing. And like I said, we have to be able to have the skills that we need to be able to do that. And so join me in It's the Click for me. You'll get the communication tools, because once you see it, and I say it all the time, it's like anybody can get rid of the darkness if they know where the light switch is in the room. Doesn't matter who it is, right? So this isn't a matter of like, do my partner, like anybody who knows where the light switch is gets rid of the darkness. And when it comes to relationships, again, most of what we have not learned how to do it. We've just watched other people do it, often poorly, by the way, which is how come we're repeating the same things they taught. This notion of when men cheat, it's not emotional. What? You've got to be kidding me. It is no different, because men and women are not different. We're all emotional beings, right? Even the logical ones, if there's like, no, but I'm logical. Be clear that all decisions that we are making are emotional. I call logic, again, I'm an engineer who's been trained well in logic. I get it. And I made a whole lot of logical decisions. Logic to me is just emotions with data on top of them. You can back it up, right? And so, but it all comes from an emotional place. Hence the reason you can almost always find data to back up just about anything you want. And so one is not good or bad. Like I said, men are not logical. Men are linear. And I say that all the time. Men are linear thinkers. Women are non-linear thinkers. So we think about things differently. Both linear and non-linear thought can be logical. Those are different. Again, hence the reason, again, if you watch somebody who has cheating, they try to explain it, you're like, this is illogical. This is absolutely illogical. However, because our emotions and how we feel and how somebody makes us feel will triumph logic any day and every day, that's how come he ends up in the arms of a woman. You're looking at her like, she not this and she not, but she makes him feel a certain way. Or what he got that there's a feeling that person is looking to fulfill, and they believe that it only can be had with the other person, because there's no history or whatever the story is. But the point is that, again, when people cheat on anything, tests, games, it's usually because, again, they feel unprepared to handle whatever is in front of them. And so whether it be relational cheating, whether it be, social cheating, doesn't really matter. The spirit is kind of the same. The impact, the stories we make about it and all that stuff might be different. But when you think about why people cheat on anything, it's kind of for the same reasons. They don't have the skills they need, or they don't believe they have the skills they need, or they've not developed the skills they need, or something along those lines to get the outcomes that they actually want, right? On a test, I don't think I got the skills I need to get an A, so I cheat. In a game, I don't think I got the skills to win, so I cheat. If you're in Georgia right now, you don't think you got the skills to win, so you create new laws. Also cheating. The voters down there, clearly I'm not thrilled about what's unfolding. I know, but you get my point. So nevertheless, again, I'm interested in your thoughts down. Drop them in the comments. We can talk more about this. But men are as emotional when they are unfaithful as anybody else is when they are unfaithful. Keep that as your point. That's the love engineer. That's my point. Happy Friday. Go in love.